If you guys want the fastest way to improve your aim, get some Control Freaks for cheap. Use code GOBLIN for 10% off and improve your aim today. Link in the description.
Hey Goblin, why is the Hulk in a Call of Duty thumbnail? Because it's a huge patch update, boys. Welcome back. The patch is finally out. You guys can tell I'm a little bit excited. Now, I just woke up, and of course we had prior knowledge that this update was coming out this Thursday, but this is a bunch of different weapon changes. We're going to talk about them all today. Excuse me for the old gameplay. This is gameplay when I hopped on a subscriber's account and used the heroic combat shotgun. I just wanted to get this update out to you guys ASAP because I just woke out and I want to inform you guys of all the changes, and then I'm probably going to hop on and play a lot of Call of Duty today, test out all these different things. If you guys could drop a like on this video, I would really appreciate that. Let's go ahead and let's smash up 122 likes. That would be insane if we could hit that. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and this is out right now into Call of Duty World War II. Now, I believe this is a hot fix, which what that means is you don't actually have to get on the game and install anything. It'll probably just say, you know, updates, restart your game, updates are installed, boom, they hot fixed it right into the game for you. High convenience and a lot of different weapon changes. Some may make you happy, some may make you a little angry. So let's talk about it. All right, boys? I'm excited though. Let's start off with the first one, okay? So mainly what playlist update was today, they call it a playlist update, but it was pretty much all weapon changes. At least that's all we know about it right now. They could have done some different stuff with it, but as of right now, so if you notice new stuff on the game, it's because right now the patch notes that I have and that all we have is the weapon tuning adjustments. Of course, that's the main thing, so that's all we really care about, but that's what we're talking about. All right, first one, FG42. As you guys know, has been a topic of conversation. They nerfed it. It was one of the best guns in the game. A lot of people would say it was the best gun in the game. In competitive, it was the best gun in the game. Then they nerfed the fire rate like 10%, added a little bit more recoil, and they admitted that they had over-nerfed the gun. So FG42 changes today. We have a recoil buff and a slight fire rate buff. Now, recoil buff can be kind of confusing with the wording. Basically, anytime you hear buff, that means the gun is better than where it was before, and anytime you hear nerf, the gun is worse than it was before. So recoil buff, it doesn't mean that they added more recoil, it means there's now less recoil. Buff, the gun is better, so less recoil and more fire rate. It shoots faster and less recoil. So it's kind of like they just reverted the last patch they did. Now, I'm guessing, of course, I haven't tested it yet, that the numbers on this aren't going to be completely reverted. They're basically going to be dragging it back a little bit because they admitted they had over nerfed this weapon. So this is good. I believe this will put the FG42 in a top assault rifle conversation, especially now with this fire rate buff, the recoil buff, and if you throw on rapid fire with this thing, it's going to be interesting, and there's definitely going to be some gameplays slaying up. I can't wait to get on the forest map with this thing and do some absolute work, because the FG42 is an awesome gun for long range, and those are some pretty cool changes. Next one, this is a gun that I didn't expect them to touch this one, but I'm glad they did. The grease gun, one of my favorite guns when I first started playing the game. I think everyone gravitates to the grease gun when they first start playing because it's the first unlocked SMG. And me myself, when I first started playing, I remember my first game ever on the beta with that one. I was slaying kids on Gibraltar. Grease gun, recoil adjustments to give player more control, and ADS transition time buff. Now, basically what this means, and there's a fancy word in blah blah blah, recoil adjustment to give player more control. There's less recoil, that's what it means. This thing already had little to no recoil, but that's good. Basically, it was a bounce up and down, and I'm guessing this will make it less of a bounce. Next is ADS transition time buff, which essentially means you're aiming in faster. The reasoning behind this is sort of because, interestingly enough, the grease gun actually aimed in slower than all the other SMGs. It was by a fraction of a second, but maybe that could get you killed in such a twitch shooter, fast-paced game like Call of Duty is and Call of Duty World War II. So some grease gun adjustments. I would like to see a fire rate buff on this thing. We didn't get that. Just recoil adjustments and aim down sights faster, which maybe makes this thing good. I still think that you have to run rapid fire. It's basically no option. With the grease gun, you pretty much have to run rapid fire every single time because that gun, the fire rate doesn't compete with the other SMGs. But other than that, it's a pretty cool gun, especially if you have the candy variant, which makes the sights pretty good, or you run a red dot or a lens sight or whatever. So some nice changes to the grease gun. Do I think this will make the grease gun a great SMG in the game? Probably not, but it'll make it a little bit better and make it more usable. Next changes we have here are with the snipers. Now, this is the sniping community is talking a lot about this, some negative, some positive. The Kar98K, an ADS transition time nerf. Now, let's be honest, we all saw this coming. The Kar98K scoped in super duper fast, and they've been talking about doing a nerf to it, and they actually came through with it today. So I'm sure people that hate snipers and say, nerf the snipers, blah, blah, they're going to be happy. And people who snipe, you know, of course, this is going to be some sad news for them because they won't be able to, you know, in this game, the Kar98K was the best gun to quickscope by far, and nowadays receiving some sort of a ADS time nerf. On the other hand, though, snipers can rejoice about this one. The Lee Enfield with an ADS transition time buff. So it's going to be scoping in quicker now, which, thank you, man. That the Lee Enfield scoped in so unbelievably slow. It was kind of a joke. Especially you think with a gun that scopes in so slow, there would be some other benefits. But no, not only did it scope in super slow, it also got more hit markers in the Kar98K. And this is some steps in the right direction with sniper balance. Like I say every single time, it's steps in the right direction. But the patch rate, I mean, the game's been out for what now? 2.5 months, something like that? Yeah, somewhere around there. And it's just taken them so long to try to get this meta down. I mean, it takes all year, a lot of times in Call of Duty. But I feel like in this game, there's some more changes they could have made to the snipers than that. But that's the main changes, which are definitely good if you like the Lee Enfield and bad if you like the Kar98K, and I'm pretty sure everyone likes the Kar98K, at least when it's in their hands. So those are the changes to there. Combat shotgun, I talked about it, man. I made the video yesterday. I wanted to get one last good game with it before it got nerfed, and of course the nerf did come out today as I predicted, or not really predicted because they kind of said, you know, updates coming Thursday, and we're thinking about nerfing the combat shotgun. So combat shotgun has a slight max damage range nerf, still overall buff to where it was at the launch of the game. So it's exactly what they were talking about before. Basically the raw numbers on this is one where I actually do know the raw numbers. What they did is when they buffed this shotgun a while ago, this shotgun was in the game, it was sort of okay, but they did give it a buff, and the buff was plus 50 to the damage range. And now this nerf that they're taking it back is going to be minus 20 to the damage range. So still overall, compared to where it was at the start of the game, they say it's a still overall buff to where it was at the launch of the game. That is correct. You're still going to have plus 30 on the damage range, so it's still a fairly good buff. It's just going to be interesting now to see. This is one where I really have to test it to see how much they did nerf it, because reading minus 20 damage range doesn't really do much for me, except when I'm, you know, on a V2 rocket streak and I shoot a guy right in the face and get a hit marker and start screaming at the TV. So that's definitely some interesting changes to the combat shotgun. And next, this is probably the most interesting change out of all of it. The sawed-off shotgun, a lot of changes here. Max and mid damage range buff. So damage range buffs for people at the max range, which is far with the shotgun, and at mid damage range. So overall, pretty much means a damage buff right there. Buff to number of pellets to kill. Well, that right there means a damage buff. It takes less pellets to kill someone. So this is huge. This gun is going to be, this could be a very good shotgun right now. Next change is a reload time buff, which another one, and a hip spread nerf. So that is interesting there that they did end up nerfing the hip spread, which is sort of weird. I guess if they had buffed that too, it would have been a bit more overpowered. But you got 3 buffs and 1 nerf. So overall, you're looking pretty good on this one. Of course, this is one that it's a shotgun where I pretty much have ignored it for most of the game, because it's one of those ones you pick up, you play a couple lives with, and then you realize, my KD is suffering, my team is suffering, and I'm getting destroyed with the shotgun. Why not just use the combat shotgun? But now it's going to be interesting. Hopefully it is a shotgun that, of course, the sawed-off shotgun has a lot of history to it, as even in Call of Duty it has history. It's been used in multiple Call of Duty games, and that's definitely an interesting gun and some cool changes. So that's all the weapon changes. Also a couple map changes. They moved defensive start spawns in SMD on Sainte Marie du Mont and moved CTF flag positions back on London docks, if you do care about that. And one more thing to mention is that Michael Condrey and Sledgehammer Games have announced, this is not in the game right now, but they have announced that we have this. I'll just read their quote right here. We have seen interesting match data and fan feedback alignment on the regen time needed to be tuned faster. How much faster is still being discussed. Exactly when we'll align and be confident in releasing these changes is also to be determined. Basically saying they're going to fix the health regeneration, make it a little bit faster. They're testing it right now. So it's going to be a while, maybe a couple weeks, but they're going to test it out and make it a little bit faster, which is great for players that like to rush, because that health regen really slowed down the gameplay, and this is definitely, the changes they're making are awesome. I'm very excited about that. They also, of course, talked about score streak buffs and different stuff like that. So a lot of good changes coming through. That's pretty much it for today's patch update. Hop on, test out your favorite guns that were buffed or nerfed or whatever. Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys could drop a like, that would be awesome. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Sub for Cookie and Don't Licky, and I'm out. Peace.